Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes and this is the Frugal Life with Mercedes. So, we're going to jump right in. I routinely see a lot of people talking about oral contracts when it comes to money. Now, please remember, I am not a lawyer. I do not have a law degree. I am, I'm not an accountant or anything like that. This is just my humble opinion. Because I feel like people aren't saying this enough, and it's quite alarming. The number of people that are making oral agreements with people when it comes to finances, and then they're surprised that the other person doesn't keep their end of the deal. And from the research that I've done, it's only in a small amount of cases that an oral agreement can really be upheld, especially if the situation is tumultuous. And from what I read, like the biggest way for an oral contract as far as finances can really be withheld. And again, this is just from Google research. Y'all can do it too. But I would definitely suggest talking to a lawyer if you are in a bad situation regarding this kind of thing. Like let's say there's child support and you and an ex verbally agree on they're going to pay whatever, you're going to cover insurance, they're going to do this. When you go to court, you guys can tell the judge, hey, we came up with an oral agreement, blah, 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 blah. And then it can be withheld, it can be upheld. But then I was thinking, I was like, well, wouldn't the judge or your lawyer or whoever write it down and then it would be a contract anyway? I don't know. I've been legally divorced once, but we actually didn't even go and see a judge, and I've never even shared that whole story. We basically just signed the paperwork because we were parting ways. And I do have to say that our divorce was an oral contract. And I'll get into that in another story because I don't want that to take up too much of this video. But him and I did have an oral contract. Like we agreed when we broke up, what is mine is mine, what is his. And we were separated for like a year and a half. And that's, like I said, I have to do a whole video on that. And some of that situation was very tumultuous in that year and a half of separation, and some of it was we were on really good terms. But we both withheld, like we both I keep saying withheld. We both upheld our deal, and I didn't think that was going to be an issue because like we didn't have anything together. Do you know what I mean? Like we rented an apartment and like my car was in my name, his car was in his name. We didn't have any bank accounts together. And granted, one of us could have gone after each other, but I am very lucky that I had that. But I don't know I would ever do that again because you hear all these horror stories. And again, don't be afraid, but I want you guys to protect yourself. And situations get really, really messy. They definitely do. And I routinely see people on YouTube talking about how their ex doesn't pay child support or isn't reliable with child support. And they're like, oh, well, we have an oral contract, but they don't, always keep it up. Versus if you have like a child support agreement through the courts, they have to. Now granted, sometimes people still don't, but their wages can be garnished, they can be called into court, all those kinds of things. And I get it. You do not want to have drama with the parent, the other parent of your child, and I get that. But at the same time, if there is a possibility that person is going to do you dirty, and I know that there's a big argument as far as child support that there's actually a lot of people that don't think anybody should be paying child support. Like I was actually really shocked. They feel like when the child is with the one parent, they're responsible for their, for the caring of the child, and when they're with the other parent, they're responsible for the care. But the thing is when you have a 2-income household, the child is going to have there's going to be more assets. And if one parent makes a substantially more amount of money than the other one, that can be an issue. Not just that, but if one parent was a stay-at-home parent and they have to get back into the workforce because that relationship ended, who knows how long they've been out of the workforce, or if you guys got together really young and maybe you weren't able to advance your education, or maybe you don't even have a skill, a marketable skill, depending on the situation. Well, yeah, that's a disadvantage. So, and I did see this really scary story. I don't remember where, but I read this article, and this was a legit article. I'm sure you guys could Google it. But basically, an elderly lady contacted the news because she said she had a verbal contract with her bank that they were going to be lowering her payments or her interest or something like that, and they didn't. And then when she was like, hey, it's supposed to be whatever, they were like, that conversation never happened, and they totally gaslit her, which is so wrong. But it's like, you cannot have these verbal agreements with people, especially like big banks and corporations and all that. Like, you just can't. Like, I'm an honest person and I stick to my agreements, but there's no guarantee that the person I'm messing with, whether it be an ex-significant other, a family member, a friend, your job, the bank, like, and I get it. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to have to hire a lawyer, and lawyers are very expensive, and it can become a big mess, and a lot of people don't have that kind of money laying around for lawyers. But you can look at pro bono and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice at all. All I'm suggesting is that you watch out for you and never let anybody make you feel guilty for trying to protect yourself financially. So whether you have children or don't have children, whether you have a home with somebody or not, whatever the situation, there are people that are going to guilt trip you that you are a bad person if you want to protect yourself. I've even heard of people where they didn't want an ex to get a lawyer in a divorce because they're going to take me for everything I got. And this person's like, listen, I just don't want to be with you anymore because you crazy. I'm not trying to get anything. I'm just trying to leave. But it's the person is going to gaslight you and convince you you're a bad person for wanting to protect yourself. And I never want any of you guys to be in that situation. So once and for all, not legal advice. But take care of you. And never, ever let anybody guilt you out of doing what you think is right. So if you have a gut feeling, yeah, this person is going to screw me over, or this doesn't sound fair, or this doesn't sound legal, trust that instinct. Okay, guys? So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got something out of this. And if nothing else, I hope that I made you laugh and entertained you a little bit. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.